Good afternoon, friends, and welcome. I'll be sharing live trades and results with you. We'll be evaluating how well these trades work out. We'll be benchmarking this against the S&P 500. I'm expecting to be outperforming it every month. Along the way, I'll also be sharing some lessons I've learned about investments, trading, and building wealth. And of course, the mandatory disclaimer. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It should not be interpreted as advice. And with that, let's get into it. Welcome to Trade 14. As you remember, on our last trade, we took an entry at the end of the day here and took an exit. It was a pretty quick trade. You may remember that this platform unfortunately shows these the next day, the lines. But we went in at the end of the day here and we took an exit here. And that was a profitable trade. It was a one-day trade. Here's the setup we're looking for. When we take our exit, we're hoping the price falls. But as you can see, that's not the case. That did not happen. The price actually gapped up. And we're in sort of an interesting situation. Should Adam jump in? Should he wait for it to fall? That's a difficult call. But in this case, Adam has decided to go ahead and re-enter the market. So we're going to go ahead and place a position, and you can watch that order go in live. And it is filled, and trade number 14 is on. Well, we did make our entry back here. This was a slow and lumbering trade. It didn't move really very fast, but it sure stayed in several days. It kind of reminds me of the slow-moving river. This one happens to be in Yosemite National Park in California, just kind of lumbering along. This trade, definitely trended up mostly. It had this day in here that was a little bit of a big drop. Adam was thinking about getting out at this point, but we decided to stay in a little bit. It started to go back up. That's what we wanted to see. But a couple days later, it dropped to this spot. So we think the momentum's gone out of this trade. And what Adam's going to do now is we are going to go ahead and take an exit. And this is going to be a profitable trade. And you can watch that order go in live. And trade number 14 is over. Let's head over to the tracking sheet and see how we did. Trade 14 closed on the 29th of May. The S&P 500, 526.10. The change since last time was 4.43%. The year-to-date total on the S&P 500 is now at 10.69%. I'd say that's a pretty good year. On trade 14, we picked up 5.06. As you may remember, we got in a little bit late. But because we are trading the derivatives, we actually do pretty well here. So we picked up 5%. That brings our year-to-date total to 10.34. So that's the good news is we're gaining some ground. The bad news is we're still trailing the S&P 500 by just a little bit. Looks like 0.35%. We don't like that. But our winning trades is right where we expect it to be at 71%. Our beat the market factor, again, as a reminder, this is how close we are to the S&P 500. If we are meeting the S&P 500, that's going to be 1. We want to see that above 1 for sure, and something closer to 1.5. If we don't see it above 1, that means we're better off just buying and holding the S&P 500 than doing the trading. You can see our 4-year and year-to-date figures over here, and so far we're just gaining on the S&P 500. Earlier this year we were leading it till about March, then we started to trail it, and now we're making some ground. So hopefully on our exit we're going to see the market fall and us jump back in at a lower price, and hopefully we can gain some ground and hopefully start beating the S&P 500. That's it for today. How do you think we're doing? Please comment below and let me know how this compares to other investments you've seen. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only and should not be taken or interpreted as advice. Until next time.